Today on Alvarez TV, we are comparing two great Yairis, very traditional guitars, Sitka Rosewood, Dreadnought versus OM. What is better? Is that impossible to know? Join us as we look at these two great guitars and why they sound different.
Never, ever resolve.
Gotta concentrate there.
Me too. I was on the edge a little bit.
You're always on the edge.
I know.
Look, even on the edge of your seat.
I am.
What are you looking at there?
When I was starting to get here, I was thinking, I'm running out of frets and maybe I should have chosen a cutaway.
Cutaway, yeah.
Yeah.
But you got there.
I got there.
Yeah. Little wander.
Maybe. How are you doing?
We're doing well. Got some friends.
Hello,
Hopefully.
everybody. How are you doing?
Haven't scared them off yet.
What we're doing today, mate?
I would say we weren't well prepared today. So we grabbed a couple of guitars and we had these two. We've done like Dreadnought, Grand Auditorium, OM versus Parlor.
Yeah.
And then discussed I've really discussed Dreadnought versus an OM, and is it even, they're very different.
I think there's
Should we even go in there?
we haven't done Sitka Rosewood combination before,
That's
have
true.
we?
That's true.
On these, and of course these are pretty beautiful. I mean, my fave guitar of all the range. I mean, I had the 12 fret version of this, and then when this came out, I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Doesn't disappoint.
That was the one that was at the NAMM show. Loads of people were really surprised, because you got Adirondack there, Adirondack dreads, then the Redwood dreads were there, and you go back to Sitka and Rosewood, and you think, well, you do understand why it's like
The classic combination.
It's just...
No, it is.
Maybe other people might find this. I pick up a guitar and I play it. I think I love this. Then I pick up the next configuration, and I think, after 30 seconds, I'm thinking, actually, I love this as well. And it's once you get to a level of performance, I think that the colours between that, they're all kind of likable. And I think, obviously, you'll have your own personal preference between, say, Adirondack or Sitka, but really, you just need them all.
When those redwoods arrived, they both blew us away, didn't they? I mean, they both blew us both away when we were like, this is, because they kind of have that lovely warmth, that chocolatey kind of warmth to them. But then you go back to listening. That does. And yeah.
But then you play an Adirondack version and you like the clarity, and then it's like, but actually the Sitka, you do get that more woodiness, and the redwood's something completely different. But I don't know. It's like it's all very confusing, and this is what we do.
But I guess it comes down to it's down to kind of air volume, isn't it, and what it's projecting, and that's also what you're playing as well, isn't it? You reach for certain guitars to sort of stimulate you, and then the guitar ends up forcing you. You know what I mean? It ends up stimulating you into a certain style or whatever.
Certain styles. I mean, if you are an OM player and the OM shape is yours, tell us why. You know, like tell us why you love playing OM. Usually or people I know who you know, like Jay, for example, or other people who only play OMs, you never see them with a Dreadnought.
Yeah.
And it's all about size, and you know, size and comfort is one thing, but it's that you're not dealing with that power, that air woof, and it's, you know, everybody says OM's balanced, but actually it's really clear. And you got to remember between these two is scale length makes a big difference. So you know, when A's and B's at the end of the show, obviously you're going to get lower frequencies from the Dreadnought. Some of that is from the scale length of the strings. I mean, it's only half an inch difference, but it does make a difference. The longer the scale length, the lower the pitch. The rest is air volume, and I was just explaining, wasn't I, about we're doing some product development at the moment. We had a sample made of a new shape, and I made some changes, and then we made the next sample, and it came back for sort of sign off, and I picked it up, and it's like, what on earth happened? Like, it just didn't sound very good.
Yeah, and then it came down to you realising that.
Well, I loosened the strings.
Was it the depth of the?
Well, I loosened the strings. I got my hand inside. I put the wrong brace in it or something, and I left it. It was night time. I went back the next morning. I picked it up. And I thought, is this smaller? And actually, the depth was different to the original sample. 1/4 inch at the heel, and 1/2 inch here, which is quite a lot.
It's quite a lot.
So, you've got, when you think about that percentage is the air volume here. And that's the big difference. When you're choosing guitars, the amount of air driving that top, you know, when you excite this saddle in the bridge and you're creating response of the top, the air volume inside the instrument, which is continually driving the top, obviously the pitch length, which is the pitch from the scale length, but that woof of air is really what you're hearing from a Dreadnought. And also is, you know, these sort of more acute bends in the waist. You know, I've mentioned this before. I don't know how to prove that, but it's always my thinking that like a Grand Auditorium, you get that more accentuated trebles, and cutting the waist in.
Is the waist on a Grand Auditorium very similar to an OM?
Kind of. It's much more acute than a Dreadnought. Yeah. And I think, you know, bringing the body closer to the sound hole definitely is affecting or accentuating the trebles and the higher mids. So, you know, that's kind of a big difference, really. But the other thing is we chose these two because they're nice sunbursts, right?
Absolutely. Then they're new.
And they're new.
And they just have a kind of a classic vibe about them, you know.
Classic vibe with some modern Yairi touches.
What about the bracing?
So in FST6 we kept, for the Grand Auditorium, the Dreadnought, we kept the X brace the same weight as FST2.
Yeah.
On an OM and a parlor, we lightened that X up. These tone bars are the same weight as the X. That one, the X is heavier. The tone bars are the same weight as this, so the tone bars are lighter. So FST6 on a Dreadnought and a Grand Auditorium, the X is the same. Yeah. FST2, the tone bars are lighter, but this is all lighter. This in the parlor. So it makes a big difference, frees things up. And I think you'll hear that when we do the A/B testing. You can hear it's more of an open sounding sort of instrument, which does help, you know, low mids and all that sort of stuff. So you've still got it with a smaller body guitar, really.
A Dread to me always has sort of, it's more like a smiley, isn't it? It has that sort of lot of air in the low end. It feels a little bit kind of, it's not as pronounced in the mids as that. That is all focus. So certain, I mean, finger styles and stuff, you know?
I think it's clarity. I think, you know, fingerstyle guys, all depends on sort of fingerstyle, but they love the clarity of this. But, you know, you want that attack from a say a flat picker. They need that air volume going on to drive those singles, lots and lots and lots of single notes where they're attacking quite hard. But also remember, this was a massive guitar.
Yeah.
You know, this was like, you know, when we've done, if you check out the history of the OM or history of the Dreadnought that we've done in the channel.
Yeah, I'll stick a little link.
You know, it's like, these were huge. This was like some alien beast, you know, turn of the century, like, you know, well, last century. You know, the man at Ditson, who was pushing for Martin for that big sort of sound, and then they brought it back. But this
constant drive for louder and louder, for more and more volume.
And then once it got loud enough, obviously we can plug them in and have done for a while, but like different genres then thought, this is my shape and this is my sound.
Yes.
And other genres of music thought, this is my shape and this is my sound. And that's how I guess we're kind of still here today. But anyway, you're going to A and B these,
I'm going to
right?
A and B them, yeah. Absolutely,
Great.
yeah.
But this is an FYM 70 Yairi herringbone. So it's got a bit of herringbone purfling. That's a DYM 70.
Yeah.
And
Sunburst, both of them Sunburst.
Yeah. And both Sitka and solid East Indian rosewood. And we'll give them a try. We'll mic them up nice and so you can hear the difference properly.
We certainly will.
But let us know your thoughts between a Dreadnought and an OM if you do have, say, both of them, or you've gravitated towards one.
Yeah, and what sort of styles you gravitate to.
And why.
When you pick, yeah, exactly, and why. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Fantastic. Cheers, thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. If you want to watch more videos like this one, click the video on the screen now.